So, what does the flood narrative tell us about ancient life?
Well, the flood narrative, taken from the tablet 11 of the Gilgamesh epic, is probably the best known of the flood narratives, and it's told to the hero of the epic, Gilgamesh, by the actual flood hero himself, who didn't die in the flood, but together with his wife, went to live east of Eden somewhere and were saved, and so it was the only person who had lived essentially forever, and Gilgamesh, wanting to seek eternal life for himself, was very keen on meeting that individual, and so he had an arduous journey to find him, and that's when the flood hero told him exactly the story of the flood in a very dramatic way, as you can see if you read the words of the song, then one morning, just at dawn, and so forth. And the flood hero himself is an interesting character. He is certainly, in at least one tradition, the son of the great creator god Enki in Sumerian, Ea in Akkadian, who was the god of wisdom. And the name of the Babylonian flood hero, and of course we have the flood story in various versions, beginning with the Sumerian version, and in that version his name is Zi-Usudra, which means the life of long days. So all these names are kind of some of them anyway, a prediction of the fact that he will live forever. He's not going to die like as would an ordinary human. And in the background or the backstory to the flood narrative itself, other than the Gilgamesh epic, is the larger picture of why there was a flood, when it was brought, and why it was brought. And for that, the easiest one for me to refer to is what we call the Atrahasis epic. And Atrahasis is the hero of the Atrahasis epic, and his name means exceeding wise, which of course is an epithet of his father, so he's a chip off the old block of the god of wisdom, Enki. And in that particular epic, it's most interesting for a backstory because it starts at the beginning of time before humans were really created, and it starts with the gods. Only the gods existed, and at that early time before the world was really built up, it was just being created. There were, let's say, two major social classes of the gods, the workers and the bosses. And the workers had to do all the work, and eventually they became tired of doing all the work and they went on strike, burnt their tools, they had to build up the mountains and dig all the rivers and lakes and whatever. So eventually they went on strike, and the gods were in turmoil as a result of that, and the solution was to create a worker, not a god, a human worker who was going to do all of this work. And so the creator god, Enki again, together with a mother goddess, set about to create the first human. And there is a very nice Sumerian text that talks about the birth of the first human, and when he's born, his name is Umul, Sumerian Umu'ul. My day is far. Again, similar to Zi-Usudra's name, the Sumerian name for the flood hero. So baby Umul is born, and in this sense is essentially the son of Enki again, and the mother goddess. And so there the story is the human workers are made, and of course they're made in such a way that all of them could reproduce, because they had to invent not just the first humans who were all 5 feet 5 inches tall, but they had to have the propagation of the human race. And so there it was, and it was a big success. The only trouble was that they made too many babies, and there came to be too many humans. And this growth of the population upset the gods. They could hear them from heaven. They were noisy, and other stories are related to that theme as well. So finally, the gods became disgusted, and they tried various ways to curtail the population, drought, plague, and so forth. And eventually the gods decided that there must be, well, not all the gods perhaps, but the main gods decided there should be a final solution to the people problem. And that's when the decision was made to send the Great Flood. But the person who ends up to be the flood hero, who was really the son of Ea Enki, is warned. And being warned, he's able to prepare and is even told how to build an unsinkable ark. And that's the background of the flood story and the flood narrative, which plays just a part of the Gilgamesh epic, which has other goals in its storytelling.